Okay, so just because episode 1 hasn't been the most successful so far, doesn't mean we're not going to come back with another episode of Raft Radar. Today's episode, the video game Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. But, before I get to that, check out the website I put quite a bit of work into, actually, for this series. Link in the description below. Or just go to the link that I might remember to put on the screen, or might not. Okay, anyways, on to Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Now, notably, I do have a lot of bias when it comes to this game. It was the first real video game I ever played. I had played games on an iPad before I played this. Or a phone. iPhone 5 it was, yes. I had played games on an iPhone 5 before this. But I must have been 6 or 7 the first time I played Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and oh my god, this game blew my mind. Like, genuinely blew my mind. And even at the time, I don't remember what year this is, but like, it wasn't the best game out there. Like, it wasn't the most recent, highest quality, best game. Wind Waker had been out for years at that point. Wind Waker's also great. Breath of the Wild, I believe, was on the horizon at that point. It hadn't come out yet, though. Anyways, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. So, without getting into any spoilers, the plot is the most basic-ass thing in the world. But, the gameplay makes up for that. Or does it? No, not really. Like, the gameplay... Okay, the gameplay's great. I love playing this game over and over and over again. But I'm trying to take a more objective look. Ocarina of Time has better gameplay. To me, Ocarina of Time was a bit more boring. Link to the Past is a much more engaging game than Ocarina of Time, in my opinion. Plus, you don't have to deal with Navi's annoying, "Hey!" You know? But Link to the Past, nonetheless, defined so many, most of, I would say, the tropes of the Zelda series. Like, the top, at least of the top-down Zelda series. It's a very good game. It is not the first game to have Lionels in it, but actually, all of the games before it had Lionels in it. But, whatever. It's the first game to have a lot of the enemies. It's the first game to introduce a lot of the concepts, like a lot of the magic items, first in that game. I'm pretty sure that was the first game to have a slingshot. I could be wrong, but I'm like 80% sure. So lots of the Zelda series tropes, and a lot of like the main dungeon stuff was defined by this game. And without this game, I don't think the Zelda series would be the same today. This game is so close to perfect, in my opinion. It is one of the best games ever. It's my favorite game. I'm not talking about what game's my favorite, though. I'm talking about, like, best. It's not the best, but it's close. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is a masterpiece. So, why did I love the game? Well, because, for one, it's genre-defining, and I think it holds your hand the perfect amount. You know, there's no Navi saying, go that way. But, you know, someone will put an X on your map and tell you to go to this place. Like, for example, in the very beginning of the game, someone marks an X on your map and tells you to go to Kakariko Village. So you go to Kakariko Village, you go to the spot where the X is, and you ask about this old man that you're trying to find. And the lady's like, "Hey, I haven't seen him. Ask around the village." So then you actually have to explore and ask people until you find the person who knows where he is. You know? Like, you have to explore. You have to find things. Whereas, like, with a lot of the newer games, it's not that way. So that, I think, is one of my favorite parts of the older Zelda games. They, especially Link to the Past, holds your hand the perfect amount. I think Link's Awakening is that way too. I'm gonna have to replay that one. I've only played through it once, but yeah, Link's Awakening is that way. One thing I will say about A Link to the Past is there's a lot of dialogue. Um, a lot of dialogue. Like, at about the midway, like, in a speedrun, it's the 45-minute mark for me. For me, it's the 45-minute mark out of 2 hours and 10 minutes. There's, like, probably 2 minutes of text that you just have to mash through in a speedrun, but the first time I played, I tried actually reading all that shit. I didn't, because it was boring. I got bored. So, most of the text you can just button mash through and see if they put an X on your map. But, you know, there is a lot of text, which can get kind of annoying. And another complaint I have about older games in general is that there's a lot of backtracking, I think, to pad out runtime. But, you know, overall, like, it has some of the pitfalls of older video games. But overall, Zelda Link to the Past is a masterpiece. And I think it would be criminal to give it anything lower than, I'd say, an 95 on the Raft Radar. So Link to the Past, 95 on the Raft Radar. Check out the website where I will be posting all of the rankings. I'd say it's a pretty good website. But thanks for watching. Bye-bye.